fucking on time today, mate. And with that, we are live and direct.
Lovely.
What's going on? How are you?
I'm alright, bro. How are you?
What have you been doing today?
Today I made a mouse into a magnetic earring. Put a
That's
mouse
not
in
just a
half.
single one,
Took
or
it
did you
sinning
make a
down.
pair?
Nah, just a single one. I was gonna make a pair, but yesterday I decided to take the tail off of a mouse and shove it down the neck hole and make myself a little dinosaur out of it instead. So
That's
I was gonna make a pair, but that seemed like a better idea.
imagine if like people just didn't know what your job was. Who listen to this?
Even
Just like oh
Even if
yeah.
they still do, still don't really make much sense.
No, that's true. As soon as you mentioned sticking like a tongue down its throat, I immediately thought of a picture I saw yesterday of I think it's a tick. It's a fish tongue-eating tick. Now I've seen these before, but I've said that this is a new type of not the same tick, but it's another bug that does the same thing. Like it uses fish's tongues as a host, and it'll feed upon that until it like replaces that and like essentially live in the mouth of the fish. Absolute disgusting, horrible, vile-looking thing. Like, I would like to see vegans defend that. Just go, here, right? I sort of get your arguments about cows and pigs and shit and, like, all the fluffy stuff and, like, everything like that. And, yeah, I get it, the dolphins and all that. But explain to me why we should keep this. What benefit does this have? Can we at least kill this? And if it tastes nice, we could possibly eat it. Can make some very small fishy meatballs, but I don't know.
Imagine that. Imagine eating a tick that feeds off of fucking fish tongues.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably eaten worse. I
I'll
imagine
have a
it
bag
would.
of ticks, please.
Yeah, I think like a very extreme prawn cracker, a very potent. If you fry it, deep fry it, because the future's eating insects, isn't it? Like,
Very frieds. You could call them very frieds.
yeah, I
'Cause you've
don't
got a
think
little social media connection there, innit?
you'd
With
have
the
your little
ticks
blue
and that,
tick.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
fantastic, mate. Absolutely
We're a
fantastic.
minute in.
But that's the future. Like eating bugs is meant to be the future, and it like with mass farming, like it's gonna cause the end of the planet. Blah
But
blah
though,
blah blah.
oh, there you go. There's a bit of predictive programming though
Come on,
there,
then.
because people used to sing "Children of the Future," and at the minute, rich and posh people are eating kids. So will insects be a thing that rich and posh people eat in the future, whilst we're all fucking starving, eating fucking output cabbage, or eating fucking cancerous pork or something from the 6-story pork farms in fucking China?
They're back, are they?
Yeah, the big
they
things,
lasted. They lasted more than a week. I listened.
Yeah.
I listened to a little bit of last week's show, and yeah, we won't do another 201 for a while. That got deep. That was actually for one of the more coherent episodes, I think.
Good.
But yeah, I would. I mean, eating cancerous pork's absolutely. You can't develop cancer from ingesting cancer. That's not how. It's not how things work. So unfortunately, that's
How
something.
our cancer works, but some of the Chinese ailments could be different.
That's very true.
They're very clever.
They got all them abacuses and shit. They really like. They do loads of adding up and stuff. This week's topic. Would you care to enlighten the viewers? Well, I mean, would you care to enlighten the zero viewers and the maybe more than zero listeners of what the topic is this week?
To our 4 listeners, we're talking about predictive programming. It's like in TV shows and films and that, where you watch it and then in hindsight you watch it again, like maybe 5 years later, and you're like, ah, fucking hell, that happened. That actually happened. Yeah? Everyone turned yellow for a bit and fucking started making jokes and racially abusing the man in the corner shop. That's not actually on a corner.
It's not. It's not.
No.
It's got his own car park and everything.
And its own big bins as well. I don't know many corner shops, really, with them big industrial bins. Not with 2 of them as well.
They've usually stolen someone else's wheelie bins.
Yeah, innit?
That's usually the crack. And then like you can see where the people who originally had that wheelie bin had their number stuck to the side, and the shops peeled it off, but they haven't bothered to clean like the outline bit, so you can see a very clean part there where there was once a 12. And now there's like just the silhouette of what used to be. And number 12 walks in there every day and looks at that shopkeeper like, I'm having my bin back one day, and the shopkeeper looks at him back like, you're never getting this bin.
Here's 10 B&H now. Fuck off, you can't even buy them anymore. I've kept them just for this.
So why predictive programming? What got your goat about media and literature and shit like that? Predicting. I'm going to use the air quotes this week. The future.
It was kind of our talk last week where I let it slip that I think a lot of the TV shows and stuff all link from one to another, like there's an overarching story. So I thought, let's dive into that. But now that I'm trying to do it on purpose, it's hard to do.
It is, isn't
But
it?
yeah, it is when you try and do it intentionally. But I thought it'd be. I just think it's interesting, man, how people look at stuff who, like a lot of these things. Like I know, I'm supposed to have my tinfoil hats on and that, but a lot of these programs that people look at are successful programs, and one of the reasons they're successful is because the people writing them are like experts on society. Because you
Yeah.
have to be.
They're
You have to
nailing.
be like, yeah, you have to have your finger on the pulse, innit? You have to know what's going on.
In order for something to be successful, it has to appeal to everyone generally, while appealing to no niche group specifically. So you've got to work on things that everyone knows about. So you've got to hit main points that like people can recognize. Now, be that like buildings, be that places, be that times. Like there's it. A lot of this, that a lot of you find, a lot of the shit that, or the thing that I found interesting while looking into this, and it's something I've looked into before over the years. Predictive programming is obviously not a new thing, and it's something that's massive in the conspiracy world. But more than not anything else, you find some really deluded minds. Like you see, even just typing into YouTube, and YouTube's pretty watered down now. Like you get to see just how far people are willing to bend like logic and reason in order to make something fit. Like,
Well, if you had a little bit of numerology in there, though, man, anything fits anywhere. That's what a lot of the conspiracy theorists I get into. That's what they trying to use. Like, oh
numeral.
yeah, the number 147 is here, so that means the number one means this, and the number 47 means this. And if we link that to the number 42, because that's almost like 42, because if you was to write half of it in Roman numerals, you'd have a 2 and a V, which is you've got the 1 at the start of the 42, so 1 plus 4 is 5. Then you've got the 2 from the V, but you take that 1 away from the V to get the 4, and that equals 42. And that's like in the Monty Python film where they say 42 is the meaning of life. And you just sat there like going, rah, I'd fucking love my brain to do that, you know?
I'm usually like, hey, do you need a lift to the doctors? Like, do you get help? Do you talk to anyone? Because I mean, you could start, and it doesn't need to be a mathematician or something you need to talk to. It's a therapist. But numerology's one. The other one that I find is like take any of the big events that are linked to predictive programming. Like you see, a massive argument the conspiracists use is like the powers that be and the rich and like the powerful do this. Like they put hints. It's not to the public, but it's to each other to sort of gloat in the public's faces as if they're trying to get one over and like brag about their achievements in public. As if that's something like a bit like when you see pictures of like an example, police officer in America throwing up like that the white power little circle hand sign in pictures,
Right,
as
but
if that's an overt signal.
numerologists, though, reckon that means 666.
Yeah. I know.
It's weird. It's like there's always a little something, but they're all focusing on the same thing.
Yeah. They've all got their own thing because it's like what is different in this picture that isn't regular? That isn't like every other normal picture. Oh, they're all doing a weird thing with their hands. Right. Let's apply that to our thing. That can be applied to our thing somewhere. But predictive programming's it's one of the most fun ones because like I've found everything from like the big ones, the obvious ones, Utopia, the series, British series. That I've got to mention it first and foremost because one of our favourite followers of the station, Squiff, she's just started to do an episode by episode analysis / dissection of the British Utopia versus the American remake. she's not too fond of the remake. Like, I'll just give you a little hint as to how these go, these video essays. And she's doing one on each episode individually, and they're fucking long. She's torn the American version a new arsehole. But yeah, Utopia is an obvious one. Utopia obviously related, or people have related it a lot to the coronavirus outbreak. In Utopia, there's a flu pandemic, or is there? And in order to battle against this pandemic, they're going to rush through a vaccine. The vaccine's going to make people sterile, like only 1 in 10 or something will be able to reproduce after this vaccine, so it'll cut the population of the world. And then it goes even further than that. But it's
everyone that goes against it gets marked a terrorist, and they lie about what's happened, which brings in the whole concept of like crisis actors and things like that.
Yeah, well, not even just crisis actors, but also like alternative media.
Yeah.
Then it goes deeper, and it's like that the virus is real, but that's been weaponized. Like that happens, and then you've got the feeding into the government or the powers that be messing with people's like eugenics. They bring the eugenics side in, that there was a preferred there are preferred DNA traits that the virus or the vaccine wouldn't affect or wouldn't sterilize against, which brings eugenics into it. Like, it covered the good thing about Utopia. The brilliant thing about Utopia is one of the best British series has ever been. The brilliant thing about it is it delved into the conspiracy world so well and managed to combine elements, but in a convincing way, that it made conspiracy theorists or people that follow the conspiracy world be like, that shit could be fucking true. Because they...
Like a double bluff.
Yeah, they fucking studied that and, like, used elements of the conspiracy world so well, and didn't go too far where it became, like, obvious, almost a satirization or a piss take of the conspiracy world. They actually played on it, and in a fucking stunning way. The colour work, the themes in that series are unbelievable. But that's a very obvious one. So you've got that end of the spectrum. And in my little looking around today, I've gone to the other end, WWE. So you've got Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man apparently giving away fucking hints that the Twin Towers was going to get blown up. This is...
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And this was peak Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, definitely on more cocaine than food or water. There's no way you could give these blokes a script. There's no way you could have the powers that be in the back room going, right, we need you to say this coded message word for word. You got Macho Man going, I'm gonna say the word of Twin Towers in the summer, motherfucker.
What if it's because of them that we now have to have the predictive programming on? Because that's got to be what, fucking somewhere around mid to early 90s.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Ish.
around then. Yeah.
And then the Simpsons started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and a lot of this stuff comes in with the Simpsons. So what if it's because of Hulk Hogan and Macho Man giving off about the Twin Towers, because they'd been in the secret rooms like what they have in fucking near the end of They Live, where they're telling them everything that they've got planned for the next 5 years in that fucking seminar.
Yeah.
And you can see the fucking lizard faces on some of them. What if they'd been in there, but because they were coked up, they're just fucking saying everything that's on their minds and fucking spouting it out to people. And everyone's like, oh, don't ignore it. And the people who've organised WWE can't be like, oh, don't listen to them. They're all on cocaine. We fucking plied them with coke, because that's WWE ruined. WWF, that's that fucked. Maybe that's where the rebranding came from.
I don't think if you're the powers that be, the system, the Illuminati crew, the bad boys, the bit of bad boys. If you're them, and you've got like top secret plans, on my list of 10 people not to let in the room when I'm discussing top secret plans, Macho Man Randy Savage and fucking Hulk Hogan, they're not top.
Savage was fucking in They Live.
They're not top, but they're top 5 for fucking sure. I don't think Randy Savage was in They Live.
No, it wasn't. It was another pro wrestler though.
Yeah, but I don't think it was. They've got to see the fucking reptiles. Elizabeth.
Roddy Piper, I think it was.
That sounds probably more appropriate. But yeah, I don't think they're allowed in the top secret planning rooms. Not the risk of grassing up to the rest of the public on a binge, but what the fuck would you ever want to let Hulk Hogan and Macho... Here, so I'd like to explain the intricacies of a pandemic to you, Macho Man Randy Savage. So what we're going to do is we're going to create this virus. Here, take a look through this microscope. No, don't suplex Hulk Hogan through the microscope. No, don't do that. Don't pick it up. Oh, and now he's eating the coronavirus. Oh, fuck. Thanks, Savage. Just you sniff lines. No, I don't see that, but... It's brilliant to see the lengths that people will go to compare shit and say this is a result of this. But I tell you what, I did come across. We're going to have a little tiny tangent before we come back. I came to predictive coding whilst looking at predictive programming. Predictive programming has two shoots. And they're different things. Predictive programming
coding,
as you know, and predictive programming or predictive coding as training AI. So, like, prediction in that sense. So, shit like training facial recognition, object identification. And it got us into it, like, I watched a couple of lectures on that just because I got led down a fucking rabbit hole, didn't I? And it made us, like, some of the shit that we've got at the moment is quite advanced. And then some of the other shit, like, we're still quite far behind, but the way this bloke was explaining why we're far behind was interesting as fuck. I'm not going to spend the next 10 minutes breaking it down because I don't fully understand it myself, and I would sound like I would be waffling. I'd sound like I'd be talking on my arse, to be honest. But it was interesting.
It's never stopped us before.
It hasn't, but it was, what was his name? Professor David Cox. One of the things he did say that was a hindrance of this like predictive code and predictive programming was that the way that machines will learn, or the way that AI learns to identify things, is totally different to the way we learn. Like to train AI to like identify, say, a cup, you'd have to show it thousands and thousands of images of like different cups from all different angles, shit like that, and like it would then build it up from that, and it would.
Is that what capture is?
I don't know
when we do capture, like fucking click on the picture of a fire hydrant, click the picture of a bike, click 5 of these, and you can do. Are we just training?
Well, it's more the reverse.
No, it's more weird robot somewhere.
No, it's the reverse. Ultron. It's that the bots can't do that, which is why capture exists. Capture exists because
that's what we're told, though.
No,
but if they've got one hooked up to it, and it's all fucking flicking into their eyes, flashing in their eyes like in fucking Clockwork Orange, but instead of fucking trying to rewire the brain to stop him from wanting to fucking rape people, it's rewiring a computer or an AI program to fucking learn what a fire hydrant is so that it can go and put out maybe house fires on its own.
But
so in the future we'll have, instead of Robocop, it'll be Robo Fireman or whatever.
But it won't be. So there are people, obviously, people that do programming and are doing that with AI technology in order to make them remember. Otherwise, they wouldn't know that that's how it teaches them. But that's not what we're doing, because if you think, we get pretty much the same preloaded pictures every time you do a fucking capture. So that thing wouldn't be learning different images.
And thousands. Maybe they're just like, maybe though. What if, like, the number you get given, like your NHS number or your NI number or whatever, your school number, you know, like fucking 8 digits or whatever. What if the first 2 letters, say you got AB or fucking LM or whatever, each one of them is assigned 3 different fucking or 4 different items from around the world. So somewhere there's a person who's thinking, isn't it weird that I always get shown fucking cat's arseholes, avocados, pieces of toast and lemmings? I've never knew what a lemming was before I did this, because they just kept showing me pictures of lemmings and hamsters. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like we get bikes and cars because we've just happened to get that, but they're also trying to teach it how to fight against certain types of fucking lagomorph and rodent, but also how to use like fucking almost primitive technology against them.
Why do it in such an arse about face way of waiting for people to go and say buy something from fucking a website to throw them up that, when you could just do it like other people do in a lab and just feed it images constantly all of the time without having to wait for some idiot like us who's buying, I don't know, like I was buying the other day, 15 cardboard hot dog trays. to put in click what isn't a bicycle on all these images, when there could be a lab just feeding it Google Images and going pick the bicycles.
But they might have. Well, I get what you're saying. Why would they do that? But to save money, or because they're thinking, well, we've got all of these fucking. We'll use the idiots that being us. We'll just use them as a workforce, because if they want the thing, they've got to do it properly, and then we can focus on something else. Because they could be what they say. I've never understood the idea with science that it's everything in the public science is 40 years ahead of supposedly military science, but is that 40 years ahead at any given time, or is that for every year? So say, from when did military science start? Let's imagine it even started in 2000. So by now it's
military
whatever 40 times 21 is.
Well, no, military science has existed as long as the military's existed. That's just the development of military. I
couldn't even imagine doing the maths of that, though. But
well, no, it's
for like 804 years or whatever.
It's not really a rule, though, is it? But yeah,
I took it as well.
It's not exactly a fucking carved in stone rule, but it's taken for granted that military technology is ahead of general technology, and we are slightly behind that. I wouldn't say the number is for definite, like 40 years ahead whatsoever. It may have been at some time, but I think that technology develops at such a fast rate now that gap's been closed quite significantly. Otherwise, you've got to think how how fast technology develops now, that in 40 years' time, that's a ridiculous jump. Like, that's at least fucking 12 iPhones away.
There
and
you
so
go.
How far are they away? Like, they're already doing some mad shit. What they're not doing is putting hints to bombings in The Simpsons via a time machine.
But they could have used these fucking blurry pictures for capture back when they needed to. They finished using it and then like, right, how can we make some more money off of this? And one of them just sticks their hand up and like, my lad's just started this thing called PayPal. He's he's not me son, he's not my real son. He's this lad from South Africa that I happen to know.
yeah.
And he could probably use it for that, And that was his foot in the door. I learnt today the reason Elon's on my mind is because in a book, this is predictive programming. There was a book, I can't remember what the book was, but the first man to Mars was a guy called Elon. They were called Elons in the first written version of a story where people go to Mars and colonize Mars. The colonizers, I think, were called Elons.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's it. He wrote that book in
Not
200 years' time,
segue,
and then sent it backwards.
And then sent it back.
Yeah, he sent it backwards.
Terminator, mate. Terminator rules. Skynet as well. Skynet seems to come from fucking. There was this. Was it? I think it was called Skylab or something. I learnt about that today as well. It's not. I told you I've been learning about Aleister Crowley. I was jumping between Aleister Crowley.
I was going to say none of this
to that
sounds
weird
like
calling show. So my brain is. I've managed to scramble my own brain in a day, which wasn't a good idea before doing this.
No, I think
I've
great
got
idea.
Loads of science stuff and loads of magic stuff and things about people like men bumming each other for magical powers.
Yeah, mate. Like Crowley was.
Asteroids.
You get what could go wrong with those two mixing? What could possibly go wrong with an asteroid colliding with a load of gay black sex magic? Gay, what is it called? Sex magic, black magic. That's the one. Those two things, both the things. What did he refer to it as? He couldn't even spell magic as well. He spelled it with a C and a K. You fucking mad cunt.
Although he's not messing.
Yeah, I suppose. Freaky boy, though, Aleister Crowley. Freaky boy. I think that's a nice way of describing him.
Fascinating guy.
Oh, 100%. But also, like, reminds us of, like... Well, I met people, not as far as Aleister Crowley, but I met a lot of middle-class, rebellious types getting money from mum and dad, taking off gallivanting around the world, doing their gap years in Thailand and whatnot when I was at uni and that. And he just reminds us of one of them that just didn't stop.
Well, it's not even that, though. He's like he never understood how to make friends and that. Like, it's hard. I'll admit, I'm not great at it. But I know that you don't think, it's that hard that I'm just going to purposely be horrible and be a cunt. And he took people as pets. He's like, this is my pet now. This is my familiar. What was his name? Knowledge or something? Nolan, Knowledge or something like that. And he fucking kept him for years.
Just
bumming him in the desert till a fucking a ghost appeared or whatever, and they could both see this ghost in the desert, they're probably both dehydrated and dying. But
To be
one
honest,
weird
mate,
thing about him,
if I had a bloke been bumming me in the desert that long, and he said, "Can you see that ghost?" I'd be like, if it's gonna stop whatever's happening, I can see it clear as day. How you doing, Casper? Pleased to meet you, mate. Please,
but they were both
have you
into
got
it. That's
any
the
fucking
thing.
cream?
Have you got any cream?
Because I am burning up, mate.
Just there
I'm
with a dry
chafing.
Eclair. Just like, I just need a snack. I just need something else.
I
'cause
didn't
I
mean
just
that
fucking-
cream.
I am spitting dust at the minute, if you know what I mean. Any liquids at all, guys.
So what did Alistair Crowley fucking predict?
Well, it kind of links into the predictions from Werner von Braun in a way, which is a lot of the predictive programming gets linked to is like Nazis and Disney predominantly.
It does
seems
quite
to
a
be.
bit. It does quite a
But
bit, yes.
Werner von Braun made loads of mental predictions, which I wonder if it's like Nostradamus, where it was just throw enough shit, and if it sticks, it sticks. But they seem to have like
Alex Jones does that.
4 to 5 things from Werner von Braun, and I think 3 of them have out of the 5 so far have happened, and in the order he predicted them.
Which ones are these
But-
then?
The war on terror, communism, and then the return of communism after the next step, which was like it was like a war on something that's not a physical thing like drugs, and then bring back communism for a little bit, and then it would be an asteroid, then it would be an alien invasion. But he argued that if you make everyone believe all of this is going to happen, and on the other side of communism have the other part of the communists think the other side's coming, then they'll all hate each other and you can control them all in one go. But you need to wait till the fake alien invasion. But the
Project
Alistair Crowley
Bluebeam,
bit-
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's the
the
one.
fake
Yeah,
alien
yeah.
invasion. Oh yeah, I know about Project. It's one of my
Yeah.
mate. It's my mate's favourite conspiracy theory. So I used to hear it about him off him all the fucking time.
Oh, has he just got one, has he?
No. He's an encyclopedic knowledge of conspiracy theory, but that was his favourite. Like
Okay.
after a few joints, that's what you were getting for a solid like good 2 hours, and you were getting videos, and you were getting new videos every time you went as well. And some of them were blatantly made by someone who should probably be on a little bit more citalopram, and some of them were made by people who'd honestly put a lot of effort in, and I thought if they actually did that into a job, they'd be doing it quite good in life. But yeah,
I'd be hoping he was making them just for me when I come over for a smoke. He's doing the voices, he's doing the edits, the production, everything. He just looks forward to me coming over that much. He's like, right, I'm gonna get him baked out his teeth, and then I'm gonna show him the one where I pretended to be a woman and spoke for an hour and a half.
yeah, he pulls off a fucking fantastic Dutch accent for a Geordie, which is incredible. Like,
But Alistair Crowley, though, before I go too far away from this, one of
Yeah.
his predictions that he had supposedly in one of his books, in a book about him, not in one of his books, and the image apparently exists. As he was dying in his bed, he did a drawing of what he considered his guardian angel to be, which was Alome or something, Alamone, something like that. Almalo, I can't remember the name of it exactly, something along those lines.
Bugsy Malone,
Maybe.
Al
Except-
Pacino.
Except grey.
Oh, is
so
it
maybe
a tall
Al
grey?
Pacino.
Tall white.
No, it looks like a grey with the big eyes and that. So if
Oh.
it had small eyes, it could have been Al Pacino, just as a time traveller. But yeah, that's what he drew. He drew what was then like 60 years later was considered a grey.
But
Which you could argue maybe people picked from that because they're like, oh, I like magic, but I want to make sci-fi, and that's a good idea, and that's Alistair Crowley. It ties Alistair Crowley into this, which will help sell this. But
I don't even think that would have been the first example of a grey. I think that even he may have taken that from something else. Because
see, I heard that was the first bit. But
oh, do you?
Go on.
Like, oh no, you'll actually know more than me. I didn't know.
no,
You were saying that
you
for
might be
fact.
right, though. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, that's the first interpretation
Right.
we've got as a grey, but it was down as a guardian angel. He
Right.
didn't call it a grey. He didn't call it an alien. He called it like he called it an external influence, and he like fucking. He didn't go as far as to say like an alternate dimensional entity or anything like that, but it was implied that it was from a higher plane, because he believed that he had to get through 30 higher planes, and each time defeat the doorway or whatever, which a lot of the time involved
sounds
gay sex.
I was
Which
gonna
is
say
bizarre.
until that point, like it sounds like to me that man was just smoking a lot of DMT. So you've got to get through the
no, not
30
DMT.
gates.
Oh, heroin. He loved his heroin.
Well, that's one way, I suppose. But like any sort of ascension through gates and levels instantly makes us think of DMT because you get that. It's like you go on, and it's pretty common for fucking everyone who tries it. Like you go through sort of stages and you go on journeys. You get led places and you can elevate. You can go to different sort of stages or heights and such. And that makes a lot of sense. Ties in quite. It's why you see like a lot of not just like sort of magic types, shaman types, and religious types. They all share like the sort of DMT experience, and all their experiences they apply to their own idea at the time. But if you read all of them, like they all share the DMT experience that like a lot of people who are in no way religious have never had any sort of belief in God, like myself.
Yeah.
And like I've got no sort of link to spirituality. I don't think. I don't believe I've got any at all. And from what I've experienced on DMT, I've had those exact experiences that these people have had from like their magic or their religion whatsoever. But I've got it basically out of a small metal pipe, which is in no way. It's not biblical. I'll tell you that right now. It's not ceremonious. I mean a £2.50 pipe, the one that comes in like the all-in-one kit with the plastic grinder and the metal tin you get on the market. I'm not even talking a nice
the aluminium
pipe
burning off of it as well.
Yeah, I'm not even talking a pipe that was somehow brought back from Peru by some spiritual leader, and he's selling them at this market. But you can only get them from him. No, I got mine from fucking like Catterick Market, and I've blitzed spirituality through that so many times, and I've seen Jesus, and I've never done communion or anything. But yeah, it's quite similar. I've never tried to attain that level through bumming, though.
No, me neither, no. I've never tried it through DMT either.
DMT sounds...
Did they, instead of saying it was DMT, or is that what they used to call opium and they changed the name of it? So they're like, we can't have everyone knowing about this. Let's redact it and change it. Or have they gone back and changed it? Or we just maybe omitted it completely?
I think, well... With DMT, like it's only been known as DMT for like the last sort of century or so, because obviously that's the chemical compound of it, that's the breakdown of it. But people will have had different names of it for centuries. Well,
you any good at magic? I'm fucking great at magic.
Yeah,
mate.
what do you think? Fucking shamans
I
are?
brought some with me here.
Yeah, what do you think shamans are? That's what like loads of shamanism is. It's just like people using cannabis, people using like plants that contain DMT, which is most plants. Like pretty much most plants and all grasses to a degree contain trace amounts of DMT. So like that is a weird thing about it, is that it's in fucking everything. Like it occurs in everything naturally. This is weird, but they've just had different names. So like peace pipes and whatever. Like people have had their own interpretations. But yeah, I don't think I've never. It's DMT. Smoke of DMT certainly sounds cleaner, and but to me personally more enjoyable of a way of getting to that level than dry bumming in the desert whilst trying to see a ghost. I don't know. I'm just personal choice. Like horses for courses.
Different strokes for different folks, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a stroke that I don't want to be involved in.
I would like to avoid most strokes in my life if I can.
Almost not face, no fast. That's the one.
You don't want to get that one wrong. Fist. Wrong
fist,
stroke.
Right,
No.
Fast. The Olympics. I'm going to come back. Did you see, encounter upon your research and studies of this beautiful topic? Did you come across anything about the Olympics?
Danny Boyle stuff, where it's his 2012 opening or whatever it was, which was supposed to be the timing, like a perfect timing for when it was either like a planetary alignment or something, or solar systems aligning, or ley lines getting more and more power along the meridians or whatever you call it, and
End
that was
of the world in the Mayan
distraction from it.
End of the world in the Mayan calendar as well, apparently.
But is it though? Because a lot of conspiracy theorists now seem to believe they've added an extra 1,000 years, so we've got another 1,900 left.
Oh, is that like when we've discussed previously that any cult that gets something wrong, when the date goes wrong, it's not the prophecy that's wrong, it's just the date that's been changed? Oh,
yeah, but conspiracy theorists are smart, bro. Not
Yeah.
like cult leaders. Cult
No.
leaders are like, well, we'll change this forwards to 6 months, and then by the third time you've done it, people are losing interest, and you've got to kill yourself and everyone else. A conspiracy theorist is like, actually, no, we got it wrong by 1,000 years. So we can keep this going for 1,000 years, guys. Think of the money we can make. We can actually take over the world by that point.
It also takes the blame off you as well, because like cult leaders, they usually go, "Oh, it's going to be 6 months or it's going to be 6 years." You're going to still be alive then. You've got to answer when that's wrong. You've got to then go, "Oh well, look, sorry lads, I fucked up again, but I will get it right. It's going to be in 3 years." Well, no. You're only fucking 42. You'll be fine. You're still going to be here.
Just throwing dice on the floor.
What are you doing?
4 and a 3.
What they've done.
34 days, 7 minutes.
What they've done, putting it 1,000 years away, all blame off them. All blame it. Like, oh yeah, 1,000 years. Yeah, don't worry about it. Honest, yeah, fucking. That's me gone. See you later. They've covered their kids. To be honest, great move from them. But yeah, I don't know. No, the Olympics was the whole British ceremony was it was a Corona ritual. I don't know if you knew this piece of information. Once again, I'm being attacked by the system's sun rays. And
well, there's another one we can get into in a bit. They remind me of the sun rays, predictive sun rays in a bit and all.
Sun rays in a bit, right? But the 2012 Olympics was a Corona ritual. I don't know if you knew this. I don't know if you spotted this. I don't know if you saw all the signs that this bright young talent did that I watched today, who managed to didn't only pick it apart, but like the YouTube video was a screen recording of the video playing on his phone. So either he made it and decided to upload it in the stupidest way possible, or he just nicked it off
bus on the way home.
Someone else. Yeah. But the 2012 Olympic Games, I don't know if you do remember the opening ceremony, but a lot of it was to do with the NHS.
I honestly don't think I watched it.
So a lot of it was to do with the NHS. There was lots of nurses pushing around beds. And when all these beds got pushed into the stadium, this person's immediately gone, "Oh, and I recognise that. I thought I'd seen this image before of lots of hospital beds in a stadium. And then it struck me. Oh, look." And then it showed a picture of like beds in a hospital in China, or in a stadium in China or something, as a corona like emergency like setup ward or something. It's like, this is all a corona. And then he was comparing the nurses and the people dancing at the opening ceremony, which everyone does it in open ceremony. The whole thing's like a choreographed dance.
That is quite predictive programming there, because a lot of NHS nurses will have to make extra money on the side, and dancing in your uniform is a good way of getting that extra income.
It is a good seller. They do all have OnlyFans accounts. Yeah, like I will only go to hospitals where I can find all of the staff on OnlyFans. It's the only way you get to really talk to your doctor nowadays. Like with NHS queues, I don't mind paying that £5 subscription per month if it means that I'll actually get an appointment, and I'll get as much time as I pay for. You can't do that on the NHS, and I can't really afford to go private. So OnlyFans is like a happy medium. And go, there you go. I mean, put your tits away. I've got a verruca. Like, I need you to talk to us about this. Fucking, that's distracting. Put some. No, you can. The toys can save for someone else. I've got.
No. But keep the fucking anal beads out. We'll have them. Everything else can go away. I'm not a weirdo. I don't need all that. Just them. Leave them out. Well, when I say leave them out, love.
Put them in first.
Half out, go on, and then we'll announce the next person on the tannoy with a little.
But yeah, getting back to the actual Olympics, they compared the staff, the people, 5 of them, and they're large as well, the Olympic rings. I think that would be a Herculean effort if you were going to use that. They're also, the way the Olympic rings are aligned would not be like your usual anal beads. It's like they double. There's 2 layers there. That's an enthusiastic arsehole that's trying to absorb the Olympic rings in anal bead form. And fucking good going to you too. It's 2021. Do what you want. Live your own life.
It might be to introduce a new type of music, because you would imagine the spacing on regular anal beads gives you a sort of like a 4 over 4 kind of thing. Yeah, you could have a
You'd
bit
have
of double
three on
time if
one
you've got
side,
things
two on the
like
other,
that.
wouldn't you? So it would come out like sort of staggered. It'd be like, it'd be like a drum break. Maybe we could get the AMM
Yeah,
break enable beats.
and at the same time, you get a big scream as well as you just fucking tear the person in half as it comes out.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of positives. We could sit here and discuss them all day, but we're talking about the Olympics. Um,
I didn't mean to interrupt. Good.
So nurses pushing beds around dancing was part of the choreographed dance, and it compared that to, I don't know if you remember the start of the virus. There was videos of nurses dancing and stuff in hospitals, which I mean people complained about, but I mean you're doing 48-hour shifts, you're watching people die every day. People trying to keep their spirits up for 15 seconds at a time by doing a little dance for a camera is, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not fussed. All the people who had uproar about but like dancing on video, you're seeing 15 seconds out of someone's, I'm not going to say a 12-hour shift because I know nurses and doctors have been working for way longer than that, so let them have it. Like, couldn't give a fuck. But I tell you what they weren't doing. They weren't reliving a fucking Olympic Corona ritual. I don't. There was a Ferris wheel there. The bloke pointed to the Ferris wheel and said it was a 5G mast.
Right.
They're not even similar shapes. They had air performers. They had people on fucking like harnesses moving through the air, and he pointed at them, going, "This shows that the coronavirus is airborne."
This guy's a genius, bro. He's a special kind of genius.
2 minutes after this, the next link I clicked on showed us the Big Lebowski when he signs for a check, when he pays for the carton of milk in the supermarket with a check, and the date signed September the 11th. And then the bloke was like, but he only signs for 69 cents. Why would you ever write a check for 69 cents? I was like, that's the fucking point in the film. The point of the film is that it's the dude, and he's a fucking freeloading, like, he's living on he's just living day to day. He's the sort of person to write a check for 69 cents. That's the point. What are you not?
Someone who's never seen the film, though, innit?
It's someone who, no, because he analysed other parts and he referenced other parts later on in the film.
Oh,
He's
right.
seen the fucking film, which made it even more infuriating. It's like, how can you understand the Big Lebowski and then not get one of the first scenes of the film, if not the first scene of the film? But then that was quickly glossed over because I moved on to gang stalking in Australia. Some bloke who called his video predictive programming, but it was actually someone who believes they're a victim of gang stalking. Do you know about gang stalking?
Nope.
I
I imagine it's where a group of people follow you through the street.
Have you heard of targeted individuals?
No.
It's people who believe they're one and the same. Gang stalking and targeted individuals are victims of gang stalking, so they believe. It's when people believe that they're being followed, and there's government agencies and things after them all of the time. So,
like when you've got the people in high-vis jackets outside of your house messing on the green boxes, but they're only there when you go out your front door.
Exactly. So this bloke was like, this bloke, obviously, but he's a target individual. He believes that he's being monitored and followed all the time. I don't know what makes you think you're so special that you're getting...
Probably by making these videos is making him think this.
But it must have started before you started making the videos, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because you'd have to notice it, wouldn't you?
Exactly. So this is what basically targeted individuals, people who are victims of gang stalking. You're a set of narcissistic cunts. Because what makes you so
paranoid
special?
Schizophrenics.
Yeah. Well, that's probably more likely so. But I'm going to call you narcissistic cunts for the purpose of tongue-in-cheek.
Well,
podcast.
they've made a video about it, haven't they? So
exactly.
they
You're fucking bragging on. Oh, look at me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the irony of it.
I know. It's actually, no, the double irony is that video only had 147 views. So
they're all the agents that have been following him, plus you.
Out of a gang stalk, for someone who's suffering gang stalking, they really don't have that many people watching them. Because I've seen some bloke making a hut in like the forests of Indonesia or something with his bare hands with clay and wood, and that video's got like 36 million views. And this bloke, apparently a victim of gang stalking, has 148 now because of me. But this particular video was him saying, "Whenever I step outside, something will happen," which was an amazing start to a video, because I thought, That right there, mate, what you've done there is you've not oversold yourself. You've not gone.
Can we get him on the show?
Yeah,
we need him as a guest.
No, he won't talk to us. He'll think we're watching him. He'll think because any sort of
Tell him
contact,
we're not recording.
any sort of we're going to do a podcast, but we're not going to distribute it or record it or do anything. We're just have we're basically going to have a conversation.
It's just an interview. It's just an interview. We just want to speak to you. But we've got a few questions for you.
But he started because the big thing with conspiracy theorists is like, or anyone trying to sell this. Is you can't, if you oversell yourself, I'm immediately not buying into your shit. But he's just gone, when I go outside, something will happen. He's not gone, when I go outside, there's going to be 6 blokes in a van over there that'll come out the back and they'll start looking at us. No. He's left a very broad spectrum of possibility. And then he stepped outside, and the video showed real time for 10 seconds. There's a clock in the corner. And then he put it on fast forward, and he stood in his garden for 2 minutes, and then a car drove past, and that was his proof that because his neighbour drove past, then pulled up over the road 2 minutes after he went outside, not instantly, and he's on. It's not like he's on he's not on a main road, but he's also not on a county track in the middle of nowhere. He's on somewhere where I would actually expect a car to drive past every 2 minutes. But this bloke got it. It was
like people have somewhere to be,
or they live there. Because I mean, he was in what we would call a house on a street. Now, streets are made up of multiple houses,
right.
And I don't know if this fucking Mentor member realised that much like he gets to and from his house with the car that was parked on his driveway, other people do the fucking same. And this was his neighbour.
I will take an educated guess there in the fact that this fella probably doesn't talk to many people, so doesn't actually know this happens, and probably doesn't go outside enough to notice, this is just what people do.
Maybe he's been out too much. That might be his problem. I've met some people now that back in around 2009, 2010. I met them on dance floors when we were both absolutely spangled on cowies, but at that time, they were brilliant minds. Now, they stare at the washing machine for about 25 minutes before they know what to do with it. Some of them, it's not a case of they've never been outside. Some of them had a little bit too much outside when they were younger, and now now they're inside basically for the foreseeable future.
Burnt up. Did he seem like a burnt up kind of guy, though?
There wasn't much talking.
And what though? If it's the same car every time and the same neighbour, that would get me. I'd be thinking, this is fucking weird.
I'd be thinking my neighbour's a dealer because he's in and out all the time.
Well, no, because if you're leaving the house every morning, like 5 days a week, you leave your house, if you've got a job, I assume, at the same time every day. Now, if you see a car coming in at the same time, they might just work nights. And he obviously isn't... Well, I guess he's not making that mental leap.
Narcissist.
He's making a better one.
Wants to make
him at the centre of the universe.
It's about me.
Yeah.
This is like the thing that you find with so much.
These other people are getting letters about me. I need to read them first.
I've got to go through their phone boxes. Maybe they're in their dogs. I must start cutting open their dogs. I'll put them on the train tracks when I'm finished to get rid of the evidence, because I haven't found a letter yet, but I've got a lot of dead dogs. This is the thing with most conspiracy theorists I'm going to say at the YouTube level, because that's the best level, and that's the level of people who are making videos at home who shouldn't really have access to Adobe Premiere Pro, but somehow they've got it. I'm not entirely sure how they paid for it, because they haven't got fucking jobs, I'll tell you that now. And it's not through one... I'm not going to say they're lazy. I'm going to say they're highly incapable or highly unemployable.
Highly unemployable. They're not incapable. I couldn't make some of these videos, mate.
I didn't mean... No. I didn't mean incapable in a lack of skill or talent sense. I meant incapable of work, as in they're incapable of being in a workplace surrounded by humans and communicating for any sustained period of time without somehow pissing off everyone around themselves or breaking down. Like,
That's fair enough. Yeah, I
but
understand.
the thing,
I'm glad you clarified that one.
but with the people who like are on those who make this level of video, which is my favorite level of video, I don't want to see the professionally produced stuff. I've seen enough of that in my time. I've seen good documentaries. I can watch them 10 to the dozen. The, how should we say it? The homemade connoisseur of the conspiracy. They're all narcissists because everything's about them. And it's why is it about you? Because there are people out there who should be targeted. There are certain people going about their day-to-day lives who should be in fear of them. And the thing is, they're not. They're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I could get killed at anyone. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting a convertible. I'm walking around a Versace suit. Like, I'm showing off. And the people that really have no reason at all to be scared. You are insignificant. Nobody cares about you. And I'm not just talking about your family. They probably don't. You probably cut those off a long time ago when you started saying they were all part of the Illuminati and 33rd degree Masons.
You're all wizards.
Yeah, not only do they not care, your counsellor doesn't really care about you, your doctor doesn't care, your parole officer, they probably don't care either. And I tell you what,
Postman
the
only
CIA...
brings those letters because he's paid to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you know, you are the person that door-to-door salesmen actually avoid. They go, do you know what? Nah, I'm not. It's worth not getting the commission to not having to talk to that much.
That's what the chip in the paving flag means outside your front room, mate. It means that don't go in here. This
Don't
guy's
bother.
a miserable, boring bastard. He thinks we all like him.
It's not that. It's like, don't go in here. He'll invite you inside and show you his collection of used tea bags.
You ever been invited into someone's house when you're doing a door-to-door job?
I've not done a door-to-door job, but I have been invited into people's houses because like we've either helped them with something or something before, and yeah, I wouldn't do it again.
I did it a couple of times going into people's houses when I was doing door-to-door, and one woman was like, "Yeah, do you want to come and have a look at me?" Because I was trying to sell her some doors. She's like, "You wouldn't believe it. Someone's just ripped the back door off my kitchen." And I was like, "Right, all right. Well, you're gonna need a new one, then, aren't you?" So I took her details and that, just fucking forced her into it. But I say forced. I'm a very adaptable salesman. I was good at my job. And she's like, "Do you want to see me budgies?"
And said, "Fucking
And
buy
I was
it."
like, "Okay." Yeah. And I was like, "Go on, I'll have a look at these budgies." Yeah.
And she got her
I'd look at
tits
the
out.
budgies. House? No, fucking hell. That would have been a relief.
It was a bird joke.
No, fair. It flew over my head. Anyway, so I go into this woman's house and I look at the budgies. A house smells of cat piss, right? Not a cat in sight, not a cat toy in sight. No bowls anywhere for cats.
Strong
just one of them
budgie
houses.
piss then.
No, it was definitely cat piss. There's definitely fucking smell
I
of
recognise
cat
that
piss in
smell
house.
everywhere. I've drunk a lot of that in my time.
Dirty fish tank. Another fish tank, pristine. So she clearly liked whatever was in there, but I couldn't see what was in there. But that one, she loved that one. The rest of the stuff not really looked after. The house was a bit scruffy, a bit messy, as you'd imagine of someone who's just had the back door of the kitchen ripped off by another person.
The back door smashed in. Yep.
Well, that's what I thought I'd done. It started to click as I'm walking into the house going, was this just a weird ploy to get me in? No, it wasn't. Door was fucked. She said, "Would you like a glass of Pepsi?" I went, "Yeah, all right, why not?"
This smells
I'd
of
love one.
almonds.
Yeah, height of summer, and it'll get rid of the smell of cat piss. So she went into the fridge, which didn't have the Pepsi in. She looked in the fridge, closed the fridge, went into the cupboard above the counter, opened it, top shelf, half a bottle of Pepsi. Thought this seems a bit... It's not a convenient place to keep it. There was nothing else in that cupboard. Just a half bottle of Pepsi at the top of the cupboard. And there was a reach for her she had to stretch. And then she goes on behind her to where the fridge was, that counter there above that cupboard, plastic cups in there, disposable plastic cups in there. And she went, "Oh, I won't give you that one. That one's dirty. I'll give you one of these ones. That one's clean." And I was staring at her thinking, wow, this is a type of person I've never met before.
Yeah.
This is genuine crazy, this is. I should probably leave. But not till I've sold her some doors.
Yeah, and I've drunk this Pepsi.
So I had the drinks. It was fucking sweltering up, mate. I sat on the couch, I had a drink with her, as I, having a chat with her and that. I signed her up for a thing where she was going to buy a door, have a quote for some guttering, have a quote for some windows, signed it all up, ring it in. I get a phone call 20 minutes later off my manager saying, "Yeah, we just had a phone call from a woman who was quite irate, saying stuff like, you've just been in her house and all this, and you've made her sign up for this." I was like, whoa. What else did she say? And apparently she started. It was either telling them about her budgies or telling them about a fish over the phone and ranting about that as well. I was like, yeah, she's just been doing that to me inside her house, mate. But she agreed to have it all, basically just to seem to have a bit of company. And I can't help but think, if I hadn't have done that, would she now be making YouTube videos?
So how long have you been married?
Well, we've been going for about 7 years now. Been breeding budgies. We've managed to actually breed these pastel shades of green.
Still stinks of
Award-winning,
cat piss.
apparently. Yeah. But we've got the cat now.
Yeah.
Masks
I
it kind of
couldn't get
hides
rid of
it,
the
you
smell,
expect
so
it.
I just got a cat to at least like find some logic in it all. Just thought we may as well get something that fits the bill. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've not met. I've met some people that are definitely that level of talented. Let's say, like that level of bubbly personality, but not being dragged into their house like that. I did
I
get
wasn't
locked in.
dragged. I went in on my own accord, you know. She wasn't violent.
I went
just
into
made
my own
a
accord
mistake.
of there's a lad who used to live opposite. He's like a few years older than us, and he locked us in his shed once and wouldn't let us out. And like I was shouting at him to let us out, and I was getting fucking angry and pissed off. I was only a kid as well, like I was primary school, and like I was shouting at him to let us out, and I was like, no, he didn't let us out. And the thing is, at the time, right, he was known on our street for being gay, which when I was in primary school didn't understand. I just thought, right now there's a lad older than me who's gay, who's locked us into a shed and won't let us out. This is fucking weird. And then like, well, it was weird. And then like I kicked off and started shouting. Mate, I saw whatever he wanted us to see, right? It was a harrowing time, and I've spent the rest of my life trying to get rid of those visions. But nah, man, I kicked and screamed and made a fucking fuss until he opened the door because neighbours could start hearing. And then I ran home and told my mum and dad, and then they were like at the time, oh, it's just Ben's being Ben's. I was like, nah, like that lad's like 4 or 5 years older than me and just locked us in his shed and was like laughing at us when I was asking him to let him out. And yeah, it was fucking weird looking back. I think I got away without getting bummed.
I think you did well there.
Yeah,
I can. That's another story. If it's fucking story time, I know Chode's not on, so fuck it. There was speaking about being locked in rooms. When I was a kid, I used to hang around with this lad, and he had a habit of he would undo his door handle, take his door handle off when you were in there, and then take out the long sort of oblong shaped metal bar that's in the door. That is what allowed the door handle to work and lock.
Yes,
He would take that out, close the door so you're locked in there, and then chuck it out the window. So he just locked in his bedroom for hours.
That's sensible.
Now I was wondering, did he? Yeah, well, yeah. And I'd wonder, does he get beaten by his parents? Is that why he's learned this? And then it got to a point where you'd be like, I need a piss, mate. And he'd be like, well, you can't. And then he'd laugh and that. He'd find that funny. So he's like, well, he was a weird lad, obviously. He had loads of boxes of toys though, and they weren't great toys. They were not like him saying, oh, he was poor, he had shit toys.
Fucking shit toy cunt. He didn't even have Action Man, did he? He had the fake Action Man.
Not even that. No, it wasn't that they were shit. They were just
leisure guy.
Like nothing made sense. These big blue boxes of toys that didn't make sense. One of them was a foot pump. Not joking. That was one of his toys. Was a foot pump.
I've had many a good day with a foot pump.
One of them was like a fire extinguisher that doesn't work, with the pipe coming off of it. So I just I can't remember if it was me or him, or if it was the foot pump or the fire extinguisher, but we pissed into one of them. One of us.
I'm guessing you pissed into a fire extinguisher, not a foot pump, because the next time he went to blow a tyre up, that's going to result in an absolute mess.
He had nothing. No. He had. That's what I mean. Nothing made sense. He didn't have anything that he needed a foot pump for. That was just amongst the toys in the room.
No, I get that, but there would be some certain time where he would go to use that foot pump to do something and actually just end up with a face full of piss.
Maybe. But then why is he trying to blow his face up?
Maybe that's what he wanted.
Maybe he was very scared of a fire, and he's like, my mum and dad won't buy me a real fire extinguisher.
So I've got a foot. The fire extinguisher. No, they keep setting fires in his room, and he had the extinguisher, but he'd used that loads, and he'd been reserved as well. He'd only used a bit at a time, and now he's been all the way down to a foot pump.
Did you ever used to? This is another game. This is one of the when I've spoke about friends in the past. You've gone, yeah, these people weren't your friends. So this might be another thing where there's a bit too much information. But did you ever used to have friends that would play a game where you take it in turns to like take the quilt cover off of a quilt of a blanket and that, and then you go inside it and say they've got a bunk bed. You take turns sort of rolling off the top of the bunk bed inside the quilt cover.
I've done absolutely ridiculous shit like that, yeah.
He loved that. That was one of his favourite things to do, bro. I mean, his weird toys full of piss.
Yeah,
he kept at one point. He started keeping toothbrushes in these boxes because he must have done this with his locked door so many times. It was such a common trick that he would then use the toothbrush to then unlock the door. And it got to a point where he no longer started fixing the door. He just had a toothbrush on a shelf by the door.
Well, we know
that he could use the toothbrush to unlock the door.
At least we know he's a successful thief now. At least we know he's developed a great career in lockpicking and being a general robber. So good to him. Side note, I got kicked out of science once by a fucking substitute teacher, Dr. Stockdale. I'll always remember him. He used to do like a porn star lie on his side porn star pose across the front desk of the science lab. This bloke was like 65-year-old. It was a very awkward sight and probably should have been reported to all manner of governing bodies when it came to teaching. But
did he know your neighbour?
He taught him.
Sold him the shed.
But no, because it's
game.
He got locked in this sense because he kicked us out of science once, and I did what your mate did with the door handle. As I slammed the science door shut, the door handle came off in my hand, so the entire class were locked inside, and he'd kicked me out and was asking me to help let the class out, which I found absolutely amusing as I put that door handle in my bag and walked away for a fag. It was absolutely fucking hilarious to know there's 30 kids and a teacher shut in that classroom and can't get out or banging on the window, and I've just sauntered off for a fucking Lambert, just absolutely loving life. One of those where every talk of that fag I was like, so how many days isolation will I get for this? Like, enough to stop and go back? Nah, it's too late now. I'll just fucking wait, won't I?
Whereas I'd like to think I'd be there going, I'm glad I left that Bunsen burner twisted. They're never going to know.
Not until it's too late. So
someone's Tamagotchi bleeps in the pocket, it sparks it.
I think for once, I'm not going to say for once, that sounds like we always end at loggerheads, but I think we, even going into this as well as coming out, predictive programming, I think we're both on the same page that it's a load of bollocks, is that right?
No, it doesn't really make much sense. But I have got, before we do finish, I've got something that's kind of topical, which isn't like me.
I've got about 10 minutes to play with. I've got about 10 minutes to play with, so we've got time.
All right, well, this won't take 10 minutes. I wouldn't have thought. It's not that much of a thought, but
fantastic.
Fucking, you know how in the news at the minute you got all this stuff about Bill and Melinda Gates?
Yep.
Right?
What are you trying to get in there?
No. I've got no interest in what people are saying is actually Robin Williams reprising his Mrs. Doubtfire role, which I find is a weird conspiracy in itself because he's been dead for quite a while now, and he looks nothing like her.
No, nothing like her at all.
Which is really weird, but that's a genuine conspiracy. That's about right. But these two have broke up, right, and it's all over the news and it's all over Google and that.
Yeah.
What if that's because the conspiracy was getting spread about where he was styling, like trying to be Mr. Burns and block out the sun? Loads of stuff recently about him trying to block out the sun. And if that's getting traction, he's like, right, we need to fucking cover this up because we had this planned for the fucking May the 8th. May the 4th was a bit too obvious to be doing some form of fucking Star Wars project. But we'll give it a few days. The end of the week, they won't notice the end of the week.
So
a Saturday, no one's looking on a Saturday. And he was planning on doing that, but he got it in the news so that people wouldn't talk about it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe maybe he knew this was coming for a while, and all the evil shit Bill Gates has been doing, if you believe alternative media, he's been like developing the vaccine to control us, he's been killing off droves of people in Africa, all that shit. Maybe that's all just the outbursts of an angry man watching his marriage fall apart. I've got an interesting...
Maybe. Kind of makes
it's
sense.
just an angry bloke lashing out at society. It's just when he lashes out, he actually can afford to lash out at all of society. He doesn't lash out.
Not just go down to the pub for a
he
fight
doesn't just kick off with his mates in a pub and just fucking bash a few people over the fucking pool table. He can go to like Nigeria and dish out vaccines that can kill off thousands of people, and he can be real angry
while
he
injection.
does it. Yeah, and then he'll just stand there in his room just jumping over chairs, which is his favourite thing to do apparently. But an interesting one that before we leave, predictive programming I think is bullshit for the most part, right? And the Simpsons have not predicted anything. The Simpsons have merely satirised things that have happened before that have since happened again, and then we've gone, oh, look at them, they predicted it. No, they were reporting on something that had already happened, or take the piss out of something that had already happened. What if... Alright, so predictive programming didn't prepare us for 9/11. What if predictive programming gave Osama bin Laden the idea for 9/11? What if predictive programming worked the wrong way to what people believe? So not all the shit that we've seen
all the time, didn't they?
yeah, but not the shit that they like to show us and go, oh, it's in the Supergrass album cover, 9/11, blah blah, we're in this. But over the years, media, films, books, whatever, have talked about the bombing of important buildings, like we discussed off air. There hasn't been hasn't been a massive gorilla climbing the Empire State Building, but that's referenced a lot. So what if over the year,
the important part of that sentence?
That's exactly
the point I was making.
I mean, the aim of this show is to one day GoFundMe the genetic research into a fuck-off massive gorilla to go and climb the Empire State Building. That was the goal. This is why you should buy the T-shirts that are now available on Redbubble. Please follow a link in my Instagram, which almost got taken down today. I've had my third strike and could be deleted. But until then, there will be links to a Redbubble, and you can still buy the T-shirts to fund the genetic research into the giant gorilla. But what if, over the years, all of these films and all this literature that's depicted terrorist attacks and stuff like that, and has depicted several sites that have been repeat offenders, Twin Towers being one, Pentagon being another. What if Osama bin Laden was watching one of those films one day and going, oh, well, I should blow the Twin Towers up? What if it works against how everyone's predicting, and it was actually no one was ever going to do that, and he was just sat one day in his cave that was actually a mansion in Pakistan that he was staying at in a compound? But what if before that, when he was out living with his multi-millionaire family that related to Saudi government or in with Saudi government, and did meet with the American representatives in government, and they've got ties to each other, but they're definitely not tied with each other, and there's no way they could have done 9/11 together. But what if Osama was just watching telly one night before all of that definitely didn't happen, which never happened, and he saw he heard Biggie, and Biggie referenced the Twin Towers blowing up in one of his tunes and gone, well, there's a fucking idea. There's an idea. I was stuck.
What if it was all
now I know what I'm doing.
What if in that, like, where he lives, the Big for Hash? So he's a bit baked, and he hears the Biggie song in the morning, and then he's watching another TV show, and he sees the old episode of The Simpsons, and you're like, hey, there's something there.
Yeah.
Watches a bit of The Lion King, and he sees the sex written in the sky in The Lion King, and he's like, oh, go on, yeah. And then while he's hanging out the back of his missus or whatever, he gets this little brainwave. He's like, Biggie was right.
I've got a bomb nine. I've got a blow up.
Just so it's more natural, a bit more of a.
That's what I think.
Possible.
I think what we've essentially proved is that predictive programming exists, but it's not in the way that people think. And
imagine if it is for sleeper agents, though.
And we've actually been training terrorists all these years, and that's how we get terrorist attacks to happen. So thanks Hollywood for that amazing work. Aside from that, predictive programming's bollocks, and if you do believe in it, there will be helplines available at the end of this podcast. In the description, we'll put some helplines below. The people aren't outside watching you. You're not important. Have you got any parting comments? Have you got anything to promote or blag or anything?
Anything to promote? Fucking, I've knocked the price of my ebooks down from $2.50 to $1.99.
Jesus!
Anyone wants to
discount! Oh,
yeah,
discount!
Look at that
Smash it,
fucking
yes!
Little sale for yous. Fucking, not really at the minute. Nothing to really say.
I need to get your latest books. I've got the other two, so I'm missing the third of the trilogy. Like they're not a collector's edition if I haven't got them all together.
It's definitely not a trilogy. I mean, it could be into like some form of like being poorly, whatever you'd want to call it. This is phase 1, this is phase 2. Oh shit, now he's gone.
Now
that's what I call a mental break.
Now that's what I call bipolar disorder, volume 2.
I tried to rewrite the book of Genesis, over lockdown. If we're just
Yeah,
trying to
that's
fill time.
absolutely normal. Yeah. Well, I mean, I
tried
was
to-
looking for
tried
a
to
strong
rewrite
closer, and I
it,
think
but-
this could be it. Go on.
So instead of it being about God, it was about some woman called Karen and demanding. So instead, for every time it said and God said, "Let there be light," it was something along the lines of, and Karen witted to the manager, "Let there be light." I just went through it all and changed it like that, just little
Fantastic.
bit by bit. It reads terribly, but like it made me laugh for a bit at first, and then I felt like I need to finish this, and then I got after a few hours, I was like, maybe
Why did
come
I
back
start?
to it tomorrow. And then I came back to it tomorrow, looked at it and was like, no, this is a good idea. This is definitely a good idea, this. And I carried on for a little bit longer. And then something twigged in my head where I was like, oh, I don't have to do this.
Please let
And
us
I
get
never
out
went
of
back
the.
to it.
Please let us get out of the duvet cover and stop rolling off the bed. This is wrong. The
This
fire
room stinks of
extinguisher's
piss.
full of piss, and we're out.